What if the perfect retirement isn't $1 million dream, but a quiet, affordable city you've driven past 100 times? Imagine this. Your morning starts with sunlight instead of stress. No alarm, no frantic commute, just a slow sip of coffee while your budget stays calm, not crushed. That's the retirement most people want. But too many retirees chase popular places that come with a popular price tag, high housing, higher taxes, and the kind of monthly costs that quietly drain your freedom. Here's the better play. Pick a place where everyday life is easier, where your check lasts longer, where you can afford a comfortable home, still go out for dinner, still travel a little, still spoil the grandkids, and still sleep at night knowing the numbers work. Sounds simple, right? So why does it feel so hard to find? Because the best retirement locations aren't always loud. They don't trend. They don't get glamorized in glossy brochures. They're the practical cities, steady communities with decent healthcare access, friendly neighbors, and just enough to do so your days feel full without feeling frantic. These are places where you can build a real routine. Morning walks, local markets, hobby classes, book clubs, volunteer work, weekend drives, little festivals, life that feels human again. And today, we're counting down 10 US cities that deliver exactly that. Manageable costs paired with a lifestyle retirees actually enjoy. Some are cozy and small, some are mid-sized and quietly lively. A few are big enough to offer major city amenities, but still come in at a price that doesn't punish you. As we go, keep asking yourself one key question. Does this place match my daily life, not my vacation life? One more tip before we start. Don't only listen for home prices. Listen for the details that make a retirement town work, how easy it is to get around, whether there are parks and trails nearby, if the community feels welcoming, and how the seasons affect your comfort. Because retirement isn't a 2-week getaway. It's your normal Tuesday morning, your grocery run, your doctor visit, your evening walk. Would you rather live in a famous spot that pressures your wallet or a quiet spot that protects your peace? All right, let's start the countdown. And stay to the end because the number one city often gets labeled boring. And that label might be exactly why it's such a smart retirement move. Number 10, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Green Bay gets attention for sports, but retirees who move here are usually chasing something different, steadiness. It's a city that feels organized and approachable, big enough to have restaurants, clinics, and community events, small enough that you don't feel swallowed by traffic and noise. You can have a social life without needing a survival plan for parking. Isn't that a rare combination now? Let's talk money. Green Bay tends to treat retirement budgets kindly. Home prices often sit far below what you'd see in major metro areas, and rents commonly land in ranges that feel realistic on a fixed income. Day-to-day costs like groceries, utilities, and getting around can also stay reasonable, which matters because retirement is won in the monthly expenses, not just the big purchases. When your basics are affordable, your fun money stops feeling guilty. Now picture a normal day here. You take a walk on a trail near the water, grab lunch at a local spot where the staff remembers your order, then spend the afternoon at a library event, a community class, or a park that's actually maintained. This isn't small town with nothing, it's mid-sized with breathing room. And for many retirees, breathing room is the luxury. The seasons are real. Winters can be cold and snowy, which is either cozy or challenging depending on you, but spring arrives with that fresh start feeling. Summers are comfortable for outdoor markets and backyard gatherings, and fall can be a full-on color show. Here's the honest question. Would you accept colder winter months if the trade is lower housing costs and a calmer pace the rest of the year? Healthcare and services matter too. In a city this size, you typically have multiple clinics, specialists, and hospital access within a reasonable drive, plus pharmacies and support services that make aging in place easier. That's not flashy, but it's essential. And if you value a place where neighbors still wave and strangers still chat, Green Bay's culture can feel surprisingly warm. Before we move on, consider the indoor life factor. Green Bay has libraries, community centers, and low-key meetups that keep winter from feeling like isolation. Many retirees build a simple cold season routine: morning coffee, a short walk when roads are clear, then an afternoon class, a hobby group, or a relaxed dinner out. And when family visits during the holidays, the cozy seasonal vibe can actually be a plus.
Could a colder climate be easier if the community is warmer? Next up, a city with rolling scenery, southern charm, and a lifestyle that feels gentle without feeling dull. Number 9. Lexington, Kentucky. Lexington is often described as graceful. It's not frantic, but it's not sleepy either. You get a real downtown, local culture, and a steady pace that makes retirement feel comfortable. The scenery is a quiet flex: horse farms, open fields, and historic streets that make even a casual drive feel like a mini escape. If your idea of retirement includes pretty views and friendly faces, Lexington starts making a lot of sense. Affordability is one of its biggest pulls. Compared to many places with the similar quality of life, Lexington can offer more home for your money and rents that don't feel outrageous. Everyday costs often behave, too. Groceries and utilities don't usually have that "why is this so expensive" sting. And when taxes and fees are reasonable, your planning becomes less of a battle. Wouldn't you rather spend your energy on hobbies instead of spreadsheets? Now, what do you do with your gaze here? Plenty. Lexington has parks, trails, and green spaces that support an active, low-cost routine. There are galleries, coffee shops, small music venues, and local events that keep the calendar interesting without overwhelming you. It's social if you want it, peaceful if you don't. That flexibility is a big deal in retirement because your energy changes day to day. Here's a day in the life that retirees love: morning walk in a green space, a relaxed brunch, an afternoon exploring a historic district or browsing a bookstore, then an early evening with live music that doesn't start at midnight. And because the city isn't enormous, you can enjoy these things without turning them into a full-day expedition. Would your retirement feel better if simple outings stayed simple? Weather-wise, you still get seasons, but winters are often easier than far north cities. Summers can be warm, but many retirees find the overall climate manageable, especially during spring and fall when the region feels almost made for long walks and porch time. And because the surrounding area is scenic, you can get away without traveling far. Another plus for many retirees is access. A city like Lexington usually offers multiple medical systems, specialists, and pharmacies, plus universities and community programs that keep learning and volunteering within reach. If you like the idea of having options nearby without living in a hectic megacity, this is exactly that lane. Would you rather have too much going on or just enough to keep life interesting? Up next is a town that's tiny compared to Lexington, and the price point can feel almost unreal. But the real story isn't just cost, it's calm. Number 8. Bluefield, West Virginia. Bluefield is the definition of an under-the-radar retirement town. It's small, tucked into Appalachian scenery, and it moves at a slow, steady pace that feels like a deep breath. If you're tired of crowds and tired of paying for things you don't use, Bluefield can feel like a reset button. What would your stress level look like if your town simply slowed down? The budget story here is the headline. Housing can be dramatically cheaper than much of the country, and rents can sit in ranges that are hard to believe if you've been looking at big city listings. Taxes and utilities can also be lighter than you might expect, which matters when you're watching monthly cash flow. Bluefield is the kind of place where your money can stop running and start resting. But small doesn't mean lifeless. You'll find local diners, small shops, community gatherings, and the kind of neighborly culture where people notice when you're new and actually welcome you. Some retirees love that. Others prefer more anonymity. So ask yourself, do you want to be known or do you want to disappear into the crowd? Nature is the heartbeat here. Mountains, trails, viewpoints, and quiet drives through scenic roads create an easy form of daily therapy. The seasons show up clearly: bright summers, colorful autumns, crisp springs, and winters that can be brisk. If you enjoy cozy indoor days when the weather turns, this can be a feature, not a bug. And because nature is close, your entertainment doesn't have to cost much at all. There's also a mindset shift that happens in a place like this. You stop measuring your week by how much did I spend and start measuring it by how good did I feel. A picnic, a short hike, a scenic drive, those become your highlights. The trade-off is obvious: fewer big city conveniences and less variety in nightlife. But if you're retiring for peace, do you really need nightlife or do you need rest? One smart approach in a smaller town is to plan your support circle. Make sure you're comfortable with the nearest hospital distance, check local grocery options, and think about how often you'll travel for bigger errands. For many retirees, the lower housing cost makes it easier to budget for occasional trips to larger cities when needed. Would you trade a little convenience for a lot more financial safety? Next up, we head south for warmth, history, and a city where your budget can feel lighter. Number 7, Montgomery, Alabama. Montgomery offers a blend that retirees often appreciate: sunshine, history, and affordability. It's not a massive metro, but it's large enough to have services you need and activities you can enjoy. The pace tends to feel less rushed than many big cities, and the culture carries that southern friendliness: porch talk, casual conversations, community events that actually feel like community. Would warmer winters make your retirement feel longer? Financially, Montgomery can be a strong contender. Housing can be attainable, rents can be reasonable, and many retirees like the way state policies treat certain retirement incomes. Add in property taxes that often feel gentler than high-tax regions, and the monthly math can start looking a lot less intimidating. If you've ever felt like your budget is being charged extra just for existing, Montgomery can feel like the opposite. Lifestyle here isn't just about weather. There's real cultural depth: museums, historic sites, art spaces, and local performances. You can spend a morning learning something meaningful, an afternoon on a river walk, and an evening at a festival without feeling like you need to drive forever or spend a fortune. And because the climate stays mild in winter, outdoor routines can continue through much of the year. Now for a real-world day. Coffee, a stroll in a historic district, lunch with friends, then maybe a museum visit or a community event. Retirees who like being involved can find clubs, churches, volunteer organizations, and senior programs that make it easy to plug in. Retirees who prefer quiet can still enjoy a relaxed pace without feeling isolated. Which version of retirement are you building? Social and active, or peaceful and private? Of course, summers can be hot, that's the trade. But for many retirees, air conditioning and shade are easier to manage than icy sidewalks and snow shovels. Another advantage is how retirement can feel outdoorsy here without expensive gear. A simple river walk, a community garden, or a weekend festival can be enough to make life feel full. And because the pace is relaxed, you can build social connections gradually instead of feeling pressured to keep up. Isn't retirement supposed to feel like you're finally ahead of the clock? Up next is a Midwest city that surprises people because it feels like it should cost more than it does. It's a place where big enough and comfortable enough meet in the middle. Number 6, Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha is a quiet achiever city. It doesn't get flashy headlines, but it offers a lot: strong neighborhoods, cultural events, good food, and access to major services. Retirees who want options without the nonstop intensity of huge metros often feel at home here. It's a city where a week can include a market, a concert, a riverfront walk, and a relaxed dinner, all without feeling overwhelmed. Who says retirement has to be boring to be affordable? The cost side tends to be favorable. Housing can be more accessible than in many similarly sized cities, and rents often sit in a manageable range. Groceries and utilities typically stay moderate as well. Taxes can vary, and property taxes can be a consideration, but many retirees find the overall equation balances out when home prices and daily spending remain reasonable. The big point: you can live a full life here without paying a premium for the privilege. Omaha also shines in quality of life details. Parks are plentiful, neighborhoods are generally tidy, and there are walkable pockets where you can enjoy daily errands without feeling trapped behind a steering wheel. Community events are common, which makes it easier to build friendships after you move. And in retirement, that social foundation is huge. If you move somewhere affordable but feel lonely, did you really win? You also get true seasons. Summers are warm and great for gardens or patios. Fall brings crisp air and color. Spring arrives with fresh energy. Winters can be cold and snow happens, but many retirees enjoy the cozy side: holiday lights, warm cafes, and a slower seasonal rhythm. If you can handle winter, you may get rewarded with the rest of the year feeling calmer and cheaper. And don't overlook the grandkid factor. In a city with parks, family attractions, and plenty of weekend activities, visits feel easier. You're not just hosting people in your home, you're showing them around your life. That makes retirement feel connected instead of isolated. Would your retirement be stronger if your city made it easier to gather? Next up, we scale into a bigger city that still keeps costs under control, and the lifestyle might surprise you. Number 5. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Oklahoma City is proof that a large city doesn't have to mean large expenses. It's spacious, often sunny, and filled with neighborhoods that have their own identities. Retirees here can enjoy big city perks, events, dining, sports, museums, without the constant feeling that everything costs too much. If you like having options but hate feeling crowded, OKC might be your kind of place. Budget-wise, this city often stands out. Home prices can be far lower than many retirees expect for a city of this size, and rents can stay within reach for a lot of people. Everyday costs like fuel and utilities often remain manageable too, and depending on your income sources, the tax picture can help you keep more of what you earn. The result is breathing room to plan trips, upgrade hobbies, or simply stop stressing about every receipt. Doesn't that sound like freedom? Lifestyle is where OKC surprises newcomers. Despite its size, it can feel community-oriented. Markets, festivals, neighborhood events, gardening groups, and cultural nights fill the calendar. If you want a busy retirement, you can build one. If you want quiet, you can find parks and lakes that make it easy to reset. Green spaces and water views become your free therapy. Here's a practical thought. In retirement, you want convenience without chaos. OKC can offer that middle ground. Enough services for daily life, enough space so the city doesn't feel like it's sitting on top of you. The trade-off can be car dependence in many areas, so choosing the right neighborhood matters. Would you rather walk everywhere in a pricey city or drive more in a cheaper one? Weather leans warm, winters are often mild, and outdoor time is available much of the year. Occasional storms are part of the reality, but many retirees find that manageable with good preparation. A big benefit of a roomy city is choice. You can pick a neighborhood that fits your style, quiet suburbs, a more central area, or something in between. If you're intentional about location, you can reduce drive time, stay close to medical care, and keep your favorite spots nearby. Isn't the whole point to design a life that feels easy? Next up, a smaller city with mountain energy, lake life, and a pace that makes mornings feel slower on purpose. Number 4. Hickory, North Carolina. Hickory sits near the Blue Ridge foothills and carries that slow morning energy retirees love. It's not huge, which means life can feel more personal and less chaotic. Downtown has local shops, cafes, and year-round events that make the community feel alive. And the scenery around it? Rolling hills, lakes, and nearby mountains that turn ordinary days into something prettier. Would you rather wake up to sirens or birds? On costs, Hickory often comes in kinder than many scenic towns. Housing can be more affordable than you'd expect for a place near such beautiful outdoor areas. Rentals can be manageable, and overall expenses can leave room in the budget. Depending on your retirement income sources, the tax situation may also be workable. It's not just low cost, it's low stress. What do you do in Hickory? You settle into a life that feels balanced. Farmers markets, community festivals, seasonal concerts, and small-town gatherings create easy social opportunities. Volunteer groups and clubs can help you build friendships quickly, and if nature is your therapy, you're in the right place. Lake days, hiking trails, scenic drives, and mountain weekends are close enough to be part of regular life, not rare vacations. Isn't it amazing how a good view can make you feel rich? Here's the underrated part. In a town this size, you can still be close to things without feeling constantly surrounded. That means you can live a quieter life and still access hospitals, specialists, and services within a reasonable drive. You can also visit bigger cities for a day trip when you want extra entertainment. Would you rather live in the big city full-time or visit it only when you feel like it? Weather tends to be moderate. Winters are often milder than far north cities, spring and fall can be genuinely pleasant, and summers are warm. Hickory also offers a nice launchpad feel. You can take day trips to bigger attractions when you want them, then come back to quieter evenings. Many retirees love that blend, access without overload. If you like nature but don't want to live in an isolated cabin town, this middle ground setup can be perfect. Would your ideal retirement be a peaceful home base with optional adventures?
Now, the next city is often the budget champion for retirees who want a bigger place with more amenities. It's also a city people underestimate until they run the numbers.
Number 3. Wichita, Kansas. Wichita is a city that quietly delivers value. It's big enough to provide plenty of healthcare options, shopping, parks, and cultural activities, but it doesn't come with the price pressures of more famous metros. The vibe is Midwestern, polite, steady, and often welcoming. For retirees who want convenience without chaos, Wichita can feel like the best kind of compromise. Why choose between affordable and comfortable if you can have both? On the budget side, Wichita often shines. Housing can be markedly cheaper than many parts of the country, and rents can stay in a practical range. Daily expenses like groceries and transportation often remain manageable too. That's crucial because retirement isn't just can I buy a house, it's can I keep living well for 20 or 30 years. Wichita can make that long game easier. There's plenty to do here without needing a constant spending habit. Parks, botanical spaces, trails, and riverside paths make movement easy. There are museums and local events that keep your calendar from going flat. Downtown areas have cafes and gathering spaces that encourage connection. Nature is close. State parks, lakes, and trails through rolling terrain. If you like gardening, bird watching, fishing, or simply walking somewhere pretty, Wichita supports it for much of the year. Here's the sleeper advantage. A city with economic strength often invests in amenities, parks, public spaces, events, and services. That can improve quality of life for everyone, including retirees. And because Huntsville attracts different kinds of residents, it can feel lively without feeling chaotic. The trade-off is growth. Some areas may be developing, and prices can rise over time. Would you rather buy into a city before it's fully discovered, or chase it after everyone else arrives? The climate is another plus for many retirees. Winters are usually mild, summers are warm, and the transitions can be beautiful. If you like staying mentally sharp, a growing city can offer lectures, workshops, and community classes that keep learning fun. That matters in retirement because the best years aren't just about rest, they're about purpose. Huntsville can support purpose, whether that's volunteering, mentoring, or simply exploring new interests. Are you retiring to stop living or to start living differently? But here's the cliffhanger. The number 1 city wins not because it's flashy, but because it's dependable. Dependability is one of the most underrated retirement luxuries there is. Number 2. Huntsville, Alabama. Huntsville feels like a retirement city with momentum. It's connected to tech and aerospace, which often brings strong infrastructure and a community that's growing in smart ways. Yet day-to-day life can still feel calm, safe, and neighborly. Retirees here often say they like the balance, enough to do, but not so much that life feels rushed. What if retirement didn't mean slowing down, but choosing your pace? Financially, Huntsville can be attractive. Housing may be higher than some tiny towns, but compared to many fast-growing cities, it can still be reasonable. Rentals can stay manageable depending on area and size, and the state's overall approach to taxing certain retirement income sources can be helpful for many people. Property taxes can also be low, which matters more than people realize over time. The point is not cheap at any cost. The point is value you can live with. For lifestyle, Huntsville offers both culture and outdoors. There are museums, theaters, music events, and community festivals that keep your calendar from going flat. Downtown areas have cafes and gathering spaces that encourage connection. Nature is close, state parks, lakes, and trails through rolling terrain. If you like gardening, bird watching, fishing, or simply walking somewhere pretty, Huntsville supports it for much of the year. Here's the sleeper advantage. A city with economic strength often invests in amenities, parks, public spaces, events, and services. That can improve quality of life for everyone, including retirees. And because Huntsville attracts different kinds of residents, it can feel lively without feeling chaotic. The trade-off is growth. Some areas may be developing, and prices can rise over time. Would you rather buy into a city before it's fully discovered, or chase it after everyone else arrives? The climate is another plus for many retirees. Winters are usually mild, summers are warm, and the transitions can be beautiful. If you like staying mentally sharp, a growing city can offer lectures, workshops, and community classes that keep learning fun. That matters in retirement because the best years aren't just about rest, they're about purpose. Huntsville can support purpose, whether that's volunteering, mentoring, or simply exploring new interests. Are you retiring to stop living or to start living differently? But here's the cliffhanger. The number one city wins not because it's flashy, but because it's dependable. Dependability is one of the most underrated retirement luxuries.
Number 1. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Fort Wayne takes the top spot because it's built for practical living. It's a mid-sized city that offers enough amenities to stay comfortable, healthcare, shopping, and a growing downtown scene while keeping the pace manageable. People often describe it as friendly and grounded, and in retirement, grounded is good. Grounded means fewer surprises. Grounded means the bills don't constantly ambush you. Isn't peace of mind the real retirement jackpot? Affordability is a major reason Fort Wayne ranks first. Housing can be very accessible compared to many regions, and rentals often stay within a reasonable band for fixed income planning. Utilities and everyday expenses can also lean lower, and the state's overall tax situation can be workable for many retirees depending on income sources. In plain language, your money can last longer here, which means your choices get bigger. Quality of life is where Fort Wayne proves it's not just cheap. The city has a strong park system, plenty of trails, and rivers that give you scenic places to walk, bike, or simply sit. Downtown offers local restaurants, small shops, and markets that make errands feel enjoyable instead of exhausting. Community groups, clubs, and volunteer opportunities can help you build a social circle quickly. And if you prefer a quieter routine, you can still feel connected without being constantly pulled into noise. Here's what retirees often love. The daily logistics feel simple. You can get to appointments without a 2-hour ordeal. You can meet friends for lunch without fighting crowds. You can run errands and still have an afternoon left. That sounds small, but it's huge, because retirement is made of ordinary days. If the ordinary days are easy, the whole life feels better. Another reason Fort Wayne works is how everyday fun stays affordable. You can take a long walk on a trail, catch a small local event, browse a market, or try a new restaurant without feeling like you're paying tourist prices. And because it's a stable, practical city, many retirees find it easier to plan long-term. Home maintenance, insurance, and routine costs can feel more predictable than in boom and bust markets. If your retirement plan is built on consistency, wouldn't you want a city that runs on consistency too? You also get distinct seasons. Winters can bring snow, but many retirees find it manageable with the right setup and a mindset that embraces cozy indoor days. Spring can feel like a reset, summer can be bright and active, and autumn brings crisp air comfort that makes you want to take longer walks. The trade-offs are real, but so are the benefits. So here's the final question. Would you rather retire somewhere exciting that drains your savings or somewhere stable that protects your future? Before you choose, do a quick retirement fit check. First, map your must-haves: distance to doctors, grocery options, and how far you are from the people you love. Next, think about daily movement. Can you walk somewhere pleasant, or will you need to drive for everything? Then look at climate honestly. Do you prefer mild winters, or can you handle snow if it buys you lower costs? Finally, consider social life. Do you want a busy calendar or quiet days with occasional community events? If you answer those 4 areas clearly, your best city will almost pick itself. And here's a final question to keep you honest. Are you choosing a town for your ego or for your peace? One move many retirees make is to test drive a place before committing. Consider renting for a season, especially if weather is a big factor for you. Talk to locals at the market, visit the library, and drive the routes you'd actually use, to the doctor, to the grocery store, to the park where you'd walk. Notice small frictions: traffic at certain hours, lack of nearby services, or a neighborhood that feels too isolated. Check housing layouts too. Single-level living, safe sidewalks, and a low-maintenance yard can matter more than an extra bedroom. If you can, keep a transition cushion for the first year to cover moving costs and little fixes. Give yourself permission to learn the town slowly, because comfort comes from repetition, not from a quick weekend tour. And remember, choosing an affordable city doesn't mean settling, it means buying your freedom back. Would you rather pay for status or pay for peace? No matter which city on this list speaks to you, remember the goal isn't perfection. The goal is fit. Fit for your budget, fit for your health, fit for your energy, and fit for the kind of days you want to live. If this countdown gave you new ideas, hit like and subscribe to my channel so you can catch the next list. And tell me this, which city surprised you most and what's your non-negotiable for a retirement?